Hey guys, just a quick note before I start the video. This week I actually bought a new mic, hoping to have better audio quality for the talking portion of the video. And unfortunately, it's a really crappy mic and I don't think it sounds good. So the audio for this video will be a little bit worse than my usual drawing videos. I'm gonna keep searching for a better mic, but for now I'll just keep using my phone because I do think it sounds at least better than that new mic I bought. So please bear with me this video and thank you for watching. Hello everybody, my name is Ilse and this is hobbykr, and in this week's video we're gonna take on the book Step by Step Manga by Ben Krefta. So this is one of those very old children's books, how to draw manga books. And as you can see, the style is quite rudimentary, I would say. But this is what we had at the time. This is what my generation had to work with. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna try to recreate one of these characters and see if my own abilities hold up to Mr. Ben Krefta. So there are quite a lot of characters in the book and different designs, but the one that caught my attention is Kimmy. So she is a snowboarder. I liked her eyes. I don't love her overall design that much, but I do like her, and I thought that the snowboarding would be very interesting and fun to do. So that's who I decided to tackle. So let's see if I can make my own Kimmy illustration to be better than Ben Krefta's. It's on. All right, so I start this process by looking for some references because I'm not very familiar with snowboarding, and I also want to reference the landscape. So these are some of the pictures I found in the website called Pexels. It's very useful for finding reference images. And I gathered a few things that gave me the kind of landscape I wanted, the kind of light I wanted, colors, and also the pose I wanted to give Kimmy. So now I get started on the actual drawing. All right, so I'm starting this drawing by blocking out the different shapes I want for the landscape. I've decided to really test myself and challenge myself from now on and make like actual complete pieces instead of just drawing a character. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a very rough outline of my landscape and then of the character itself. As you saw before with the references, this is the pose I like the most. So that's what I'm doing. And now when I decided the pose and the landscape, I'm finally moving on to the line art. Honestly, I chose Kimmy because I've always thought that snowboarding clothes are really, really cool. And I kind of really enjoyed drawing her design and choosing different clothes. It felt like going shopping. I went on those various snowboarding clothing websites and just kind of window shopped online for snowboarding clothes, even though I've never been snowboarding or skiing. If you have, let me know. Is it fun? It looks scary. For the hands, I really didn't feel like drawing fingers, so I decided to give her mittens instead of actual gloves. But these were actually really fun to draw. And another thing I really liked drawing was these goggles. Number one, I feel like they came out really good. And number two, it was just, I don't know, it was fun. It was like not something I draw often, so I really enjoyed it. And I really thought that Kimmy's face came out very, very cute. I ended up changing the hairstyle from the sketch, but in the end, I feel like, yeah, I just really like how her face turned out. One of the things I disliked about Kimmy's design in the book is just that I felt like her hair looked way too big. I know that this was like kind of like a common theme in the older Western how to draw manga books. Like, yes, obviously anime hairstyles are very stylized and big, but I just felt like the Western books really took it to the extreme, and Kimmy's design just ended up looking ugly because of this. I think the hair is the worst part about her design. For the clothes, I didn't follow her original design perfectly either. I wanted to give her something a bit more modern. I did try to give her the little like snowflake emblem on her sweater later, but I didn't like how it turned out, so I just kept the stripe that was in the reference. And for the gloves, I just gave it a bit of a stitching detail, and the pants also have the same detail that they have in the original design. So now I'm just selecting everything with a lasso tool to create my base layer for coloring. And now for the coloring, I did obviously follow her original palette, which was very blue, but I didn't use quite as saturated colors as in the original design, just because I felt like the colors, the blues that were chosen for her original design kind of dated the drawing as well. So I chose a bit more colors that were a bit more muted, and I do change them a bit later, but I knew I wanted a bit of a more muted base. The goggles were, oh my god, so fun. I'm in love with the goggles. Like, I want to draw this more often. Maybe I'll make a few OCs that go snowboarding. And for the straps, I wrote hobbykr, just like the Roxy design in the reference. I thought that would be fun to do. I gave this gradient to the goggles and I just feel like they look so cool. I really liked it. And for the snowboard, I'm giving it a light blue and white design, and I'm gonna work on the overall design later. But for now, I'm gonna draw on the background. So again, I'm just creating a simple landscape, a snowy landscape. At the very back, we have some mountains, a very blue sky. I really like that in the reference, so I'm giving it that. And then I'm just giving a bit more texture to the mountains so that they actually look a little bit more real. Now I'm painting some snow with a brush. Right now it looks horrible, obviously. It's just very rough. And then I do turn down the opacity, erase it a bit, and I also use some blur to make it a bit blurrier and make it look like it's actually in the background. And then I use a bit of a darker color to give a bit more shadow. Again, I wasn't going for anything like super detailed because I didn't want to spend that much time on the background, but I do think that like I managed to get a good kind of mountain texture. I'm also drawing this, what do you call this? The transportation in ski lodges lift. I'm not entirely sure. I just copied it very, very like simply from the reference I had, and I didn't spend too much time doing that either because I knew it would be in the distance, and I don't know why one of them disappeared. And then I'm just giving a soft gradient to the midground, and then I'm also giving texture to the snow, which again at first it looks really rough, but then I lower the opacity and it looks a bit better. I'm also using a brush to give the illusion of snow. In the end, looking back, I feel like I should have used a different brush or maybe used a different method to create the texture because I didn't quite love it, but at the very end it doesn't look that bad, but if I could, I would have changed that. And I also decided to give more of a graphic shadow. So I wanted to give the illusion that something was casting a shadow like off camera. So I decided to give more of like this graphic, shadow instead of just following the contour of the shape as I usually do. And I'm also working on the detail for the snowboard. I just did a super simple like snowflake design in pink. And then I added hobbykr as if, that was the brand of the board. And I actually really like how it turned out. And as always, I'm working on the eyes at the end because I just like seeing how they look at the very end. And finally, I'm just using color dodge to create a few light effects as if they were coming from the mountain. I added a lens flare to make it look a bit cooler. And I'm just fixing some shadows, adding highlights, and then I'm just using a brush, like a splatter brush, to create a snow effect. Again, looking back, I think I would use a different brush, but in the end, here is the final piece. So let me know who you think did it better. Do you like the original Kimi better, or do you like my illustration better? Honestly, I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. I think it definitely, I definitely have room for improvement. But as for creating like an entire piece, I feel like it really does look that she's out snowboarding. I managed to create a landscape, use different types of lighting that I don't usually use, and I'm very, very happy with it. If you would like me to draw one of the other characters in the book, let me know who, and maybe I will in a future video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!